Christy Sullivan, and I own Loveland Yoga and Core Fitness, and I've also developed a style of yoga called strength yoga. What I'm doing with that is I'm applying science from strength and conditioning, functional anatomy, and biomechanics into the classes and into the poses. And today I'm going to talk about whether to clench or not to clench the butt cheeks when you are in bridge, up dog, king cobra, or cobra. It's more or less not to, it's more knowing when to do it and when not to do it, more than anything else. So I'm going to bring Alex in, who is going to be my model today. Okay, mainly, go ahead and lie on your stomach. Mainly because she has a previous disc injury, okay? This is one of the times that you would look at asking someone not to engage the glutes when moving into cobra, king cobra, or up dog. The reason is that if it's a fairly recent disc bulge, we're trying to re-centralize the disc bulge. Then we have to ask ourselves, why did this person get the injury in the first place? If we look at today's workplace, it is a seated workplace for the majority of the people. So when they're sitting, their lumbar spine is in a constant state of flexion, which is the opposite position of the natural lordotic curve. And so when I'm working with my class or with somebody one-on-one, and they do have a job where they sit for long periods of time, I want to mobilize the lumbar spine and get it out of that unstuck position per se. Because these people are sitting anywhere between 8 to 10 hours working in a seated workplace. And then a lot of these people, they will then go home and turn around either and sit and watch TV or sit and work on the computer or sit and ride a bike. Even though it's exercise, they have not come out of that position of flexion. So it doesn't have to be a disc bulge per se, but being in that chronic seated position is definitely leading them down that path. So this is why I would ask somebody in cobra, king cobra, or even up dog to let go of the glutes, to move into that extension so we can actually take it directly into the spine. So this is one of the misunderstandings that I would find in yoga classes, is that they would say let go of the glutes because that keeps it out of the spine. That right there is just a misunderstanding of the biomechanics and what the pelvic contribution is for stabilization for the lumbar spine, in the simplest terms that I can put it, okay? So when we're in these moves, we definitely want to have the glutes relaxed on the people that need to have it relaxed. Okay, so just go ahead and just move into an up dog. Okay, all right. So when Alex is in an up dog and the glutes are, and you can see that they're relaxed, okay, what we're trying to do is we're trying to take this load transfer. We're minimizing load transfer actually, because we're trying to take this right into the lumbar spine, okay? If she had something that's called a spondylolysis or a spondylolisthesis, which is an extension dysfunction of the spine, which is a forward, in this case, the spondy is a forward slippage of either L4 on L5 or L5 on the sacrum, or S1 I should say, okay? Then I would want her to engage the glutes, really squeeze those cheeks, okay? So when she squeezes those cheeks, it creates a stable platform on which the load transfer can get through into the lumbar spine and create stabilization. Now, when your glutes are on, where do you feel it?
More in my upper back.
Okay, say it really loud for the camera.
More in my upper back.
Okay. When you let go of the glutes, where do you feel it?
Right down by my sacrum.
Okay, so when her glutes are not active, she feels it into the sacrum. Okay, go ahead and relax. Okay. Now let's understand why she feels it in the sacrum. Okay. Now we have the sacrum and the ilium that's they slide in a sense. Oh, I don't want to get too much into a whole bunch of anatomy. But the reason the glutes need to be active and the piriformis here is what that does on the SI joint is that creates what's called force closure, okay? Because we have a joint that's moving, even though it's only moving at 0.2%, there's still movement and it still needs to have an outside source of stabilization. So when she squeezes the glutes and the piriformis, because it's right around in that SI area, the glutes have extensive attachments. You need to go look those up, and so you can understand why it's so important in the stabilization of the lumbar spine, okay? But I'm also writing an article on this as well, okay? So when she squeezes those glutes, we have something in the lower back called thoracolumbar fascia that the latissimus dorsi is attached to, okay? So when she squeezes, they're both communicating with each other through this thoracolumbar fascia. This creates compression, not only in the SI joint, but going through to the lumbar area, and compression is the platform for stability in these types of joints, okay? Now, the next move that is typically, where you're typically asked to let go of the glutes is glute bridge. Flip around. All right, now, one of the jobs, biomechanics-wise, that the glutes do is called hip extension. Go ahead and move into glute bridge. That's a hip extension. So to ask the glutes to not be involved in one of its primary movement patterns is placing your back at risk. And that happened to Alex. She began to practice yoga a lot because at first it started to make her back feel better. Then she got involved in teacher training. She does teach for me here at the studio. And then all of a sudden she gets this back pain again, and it's quite a bad back pain mimicking her disc issue, okay? So one of the things I wanted to see was to see what her glute bridge was. Let go of your glutes. Now lift. It hurts, doesn't it? Okay, this will be really temporary. Okay, now, when you let go of the glutes, you then will extend through the spine. If we're moving in flexion, it'll flex through the spine and not through the pelvis. Go ahead and re-engage. There you go. There was a real subtle shift in how the movement looked. So here the glutes are on, pelvic contribution for stabilizing the lumbar spine. Okay, now we feel it where?
My glutes.
That's right. This is a glute exercise, and it doesn't even matter if you're moving into a deeper back bend. Okay, those glutes need to be on in order to help with the load transfer through not only the spine but the discs that sit there as well, because the majority of movement when we're going through some of this stuff is going to try to take place through L5, L4, L5, L5, S1. This is why the glutes are so important, okay? And after we corrected this, lo and behold, someone's back pain went away, okay? This happens with almost everybody that comes in, okay? How are those glutes feeling?
Tired.
Go ahead and rest, okay? Now, what I feel that some of the yogis are trying to reference is the piriformis. The piriformis does aid in the stabilization of the SI joint, but when you start over-contracting in this area, we can then create some timing issues, meaning your glutes won't fire when they're supposed to, even though you feel them on, okay? Because a lot of times when I'm checking the recruitment order of someone's hip extension, okay, I'm just going to flip over onto your stomach again. When I check somebody's recruitment order, okay, on your stomach, okay. So what I'm going to have them do, my hand's going to be on the hamstring, the glute, and the lower back, and what I'm going to ask Alex to do is lift up her leg, and I'm going to feel for the recruitment order of the leg, of hip extension. extension. Okay, relax. Okay, she's thinking too hard. But that's okay, because what happened is that she tried to lift with her low back. Okay, because I felt that fire first, then her hamstring, and then the glutes. We have a timing issue that will affect other things, okay? So it's now getting it corrected, okay? So to correct it, all I ask her to do is squeeze her butt cheeks first, now lift the leg, and now all of a sudden I feel hamstring, glute, low back. Did you feel a difference? Okay. We do want it to be an automatic thing, but we have a pre-existing condition here, and it's not going to always happen on the other side either, so don't think squeeze first, just lift. Okay. She did it on this side, very subtle. It's a very weak contraction from this side of the butt cheek. So I would still ask her, squeeze the cheek, now lift, okay? That will make it stronger and start teaching the body and the brain that it's the hamstring, glute, low back that does the hip extension, whether the leg is straight, flip over onto your back, or whether we're gonna move into a bridge position, okay? This will help create a stable platform for the upper quarter to move off of the lower quarter, okay? And that should be it. If there's any questions, feel free to leave a comment, or you can visit my website and send me a message, lovelandyogacorefitness.com. Thank you. Have a great day.
I'm so